Welcome to the 359. I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
I'm Alfred Ang.
Amazon is now selling a new Alexa-powered microwave. It's kind of small. It's $60, and it even automatically reorders popcorn for you. There's also like an Alexa-powered wall clock that I'm waiting for the review to come out about that. But do you think that like Amazon has finally jumped the shark with Alexa-powered stuff, or we're just getting started?
Nah, I think they're still midair on this shark. I honestly, like, a microwave at least somewhat makes sense. The clock was getting a little bit closer to that. Honestly, like, how much popcorn is a person eating that they need a smart connected device to automatically reorder it for them? I probably only eat popcorn maybe like 3 or 4 times a year unless it's free in the office, which that I will eat a lot. But
it's free on Wednesdays.
Yes.
Thank you, BVG.
Yeah, so I mean, it makes sense for me for a microwave, at least in the sense that it's in your kitchen. It's something that you could use. It's already digital, unlike your stove or something, or like your refrigerator or something like that, which also have their own smart assistants. But microwaves just seem to make a little bit more sense. But my thing is, like, you're already going up to it and pressing buttons on it, like
That's true.
with
To at least put the food in.
Yeah. With a clock or something, you can look at it and then ask it something and it'll like show you on a screen or something like that. With a microwave, you are already there. You're in front of it already. You're like, that's the whole point of using a smart voice assistant, right? You don't want to get up and do something. Mm-hmm. But in a microwave's case, you're already there. I don't really see the point in that.
I think it'll still sell because it's only $60. So
Yeah.
like this thing I would think is like perfect for dorm rooms.
Yeah.
Rich Brown, who reviewed this from our smart home team, said that it's really not good for like a family of 4. It's not big enough and it doesn't do enough. Mm-hmm. But one other aspect of this that I wanted to mention was that it's the first product that uses Alexa Connect Kit, which is a new set of software and hardware. It's kind of like a kit of stuff that third-party developers can use to add Alexa into more of their stuff. So I guess if I think they're jumping the shark, you're right. They are just getting started.
If anything, I wish the microwave had more smart assistant features, like being able to play music as like just some sort of giant boombox or something like that. But
It doesn't have Alexa built in. It uses Alexa. Like you
that's
still
my
have
point.
to
Like,
use...
I wish it had more Alexa features.
Yeah. Maybe the next generation. Also, we've got a new review up for the Fire TV Recast, which is a DVR for live TV using a digital antenna. It's a pretty cool product. It's well received by our reviewer, Ty Pendleberry, but it's $230, which means I'm probably not going to buy it, even though I do already have a digital antenna.
Yeah, I mean, I'd feel like for that price, you might as well just, spend that on a Netflix account or something instead for like a good like 2 years. I do have a digital antenna, but there's nothing on TV that makes me think I want this recorded, especially if it's not like a cable show or anything like that. I mean, I guess you could record like the Super Bowl or award shows or something like that, but it's really not something for me.
Why do you have a digital antenna then?
I don't have a cable subscription, and I like watching Jeopardy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you could use this to watch Jeopardy on your
record
phone.
it.
Yeah, to record it and watch it later. Last, about 70 organizations, including the EFF and ACLU, are asking Facebook to let users appeal if their posts are removed. This comes after, in April, the tech firm started to allow users to appeal if their posts were pulled down for specific issues like nudity or sexual activity or hate speech. These groups are urging Facebook to go further, obviously. So what do you think about that?
I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. Platforms like Facebook and Twitter, they don't really adhere to the First Amendment as much as people like to make that argument. It's like, this is infringing my First Amendment right when they delete my post. Facebook's not beholden to that, but at the same time, it is probably the largest platform you can get online to get views on whatever you think or whatever you want to say. That being said, though, obviously, like, Facebook has their own rules, especially if this nudity, terrorism post, hate speech, and things like that. It'd be interesting to see if this does go through how pages that have been banned, like InfoWars, would use it.
Yeah, how they would actually respond with the appeals process. Either way, if you want to read more about these stories, check them out on CNET. I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
I'm Alfred Ang.
Thanks for listening.
that's a wrap on the recording of the audio podcast. You can subscribe using the links below. Right now, we are anxious to hear your questions and comments. And before we go any further, Alfred and Ben, you need to put a kibosh to the A word. We talked about this.
I was going to apologize for that.
If we're going to talk about Amazon incessantly,
Echo,
we got to find a new code word.
How come people watch our shows without headphones on?
That's
my question.
Without the headphones on. Well, thank you for watching the show, and I will do my best to stop saying the smart assistant in the Echo speaker.
Why don't we just say Echo? I changed the wake word on mine when I was still using it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can try. I have tried to do Echo before. I'll try again.
So in the meantime, we want to give a quick shout out around the world to all of our fantastic and lovely audience, listeners, watchers, however you choose to consume our droving drabble. Shouting out to K-pop out in Melbourne. We don't get a lot of Australians on the show.
Nice.
Could have had Ty Pendlebury on.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and kick it off. Taking a question from Matthew Datch, our old friend Datch in the chat. Am I looking at the correct microwave? It appears to be only 700 watts. And I was looking at the article when he mentioned that, and that's true. This is a very lightweight microwave.
Yes.
But at that price, it's pretty comparable.
Yeah. To a certain extent, Amazon is presenting this microwave as kind of the first step for Alexa Connect Kit, which, as I mentioned before, is kind of this kit to provide to third-party developers to create their own devices using the Amazon voice assistant. So but at the same time, Amazon also has a huge e-commerce website that they already know what are some of the most popular microwaves that are already selling on Amazon. So I kind of feel like they know it's going to sell at a certain price point, and maybe 700 watt isn't really that good, but they probably know it's good enough to work as a good pilot for Alexa Connect Kit.
Good answer to a good question. Next up from Timothy Dew, what is Amazon's real end game for the, and I like this, quote unquote, Amazon lady, powered microwave? Like, okay, so this is stepping stone technology for them, right? They're experimenting, seeing where this can be implemented. It's not like anybody was really crying for their microwave to let them be lazier and fatter, but this is them trying to see where any semblance of a voice assistant can be beneficial in life. And you got to start somewhere, right? It's like, it was there and the fridge, and then like, what's next?
If it's successful, they're going to keep building it. And at $60 a pop, I kind of feel like people are probably going to be pretty interested in it. It's not really a very big commitment. The bigger commitment is really if you want to buy an Echo speaker, which can run you like $100 plus, or I don't know, just buy it during Black Friday where they sell them for like 3 cents. So, but it's from some of the stuff that Alfred was talking about, there's a lot of additional stuff that they could probably add to this to make it better with the assistant.
I mean, their end goal is to essentially create the entire ecosystem around your smart home. You know, they don't want just the Echo Dot or the the Echo itself or anything like that. They want you to have an Echo clock and like an Echo microwave, so that if you want to switch to a Google Home, then it becomes this whole thing of, okay, well, I would switch to that, but that doesn't work with my microwave or anything. They basically want to build everything.
Have you locked in and, building on that also, like your security system, your entertainment system, that goes to the recast. So, and that continues to help build Amazon and convince you to keep getting a Prime membership, because all of that stuff works better with a Prime membership, number one. Number two, it's been shown that the more Echoes you have in your home, whether you have a Prime membership or not, all those things build up to ensure that you're more likely to buy stuff off of Amazon. So it really, it wouldn't surprise me that like the folks that buy the microwave are also better Amazon shoppers for Amazon's sake.
And another thing to kind of point out here that's important is it's not that the Amazon Lady's built into the microwave. It will speak to your Amazon Lady device. So you're going to need an Echo or an Echo Dot for this to even function.
Correct.
I thought that was kind of interesting. Rather than just build it in natively, that, again, it's just expanding on the ecosystem they want you to invest in.
It's entirely possible that they're going to build one with an Echo Dot built into it in the future. But for now, like I said, it's being presented as a way to get developers interested in using the Connect Kit. So I don't think it does nearly as much as maybe it could, because it's just kind of like a pilot project kind of thing. They just wanted to workshop this and say like, hey, why don't you guys try this too?
Shout out to Mark Dibble, who points out that if they really wanted to make the microwave relevant, they would have had it so that the Amazon lady could reset your clock after the power goes out.
I would love that. That happens like every 3 days in my house.
I mean, that's kind of what they're doing with the Amazon clock, aren't they? The
I
wall clock.
guess so.
Yeah,
The wall clock hasn't shown up
the-
yet.
the
I'm waiting
cool-
for that review.
the coolest feature of the clock was that it was like you don't have to change it on daylight savings time. Like,
By the way, it's an analog clock.
yeah, that was the thing. Like that.
I'm going to push to just talk about the wall clock when that review comes out. I'm very interested to find out what happens with the clock.
You wear it around your neck like a Flavor Flav necklace.
I think that would be pretty great.
And
I'd
she
be
gives you
into that.
directions and restaurant reviews.
Nice.
Here's one from Ryan Williams. This is just a nice little shout out. This is my biggest disappointment with Amazon not coming to Toronto. No more visits from Ben.
Oh, thanks. Yes, I was in Toronto earlier this year, and I had a great time, and the food is excellent there. So
Who's to say? I mean, they still could open up an office in Toronto. I mean, what is like HQ8 now that they're on? So they honestly could. Like they straight up changed the rules in the middle of this whole search and said like, oh, now we're gonna do 2 cities instead, and then now we have
Also,
Nashville.
Toronto showed their great Canadian kindness by I got a release from I think it's Toronto Global, the folks that put together the proposal for Amazon, and they said they were very, very proud of their efforts, and it increased the exposure for Toronto. So I haven't really seen a lot of cities throwing Amazon under the bus after the fact, even though
what do
they
you mean?
probably have reason to.
Didn't New
you know,
York? I mean, other than
New
de Blasio,
York,
yeah.
New York did, and New York got HQ2, but the losers, the responses that I saw from the losers were all like very kind, and they were like, we appreciated the exposure, we appreciated the opportunity. New York and not Virginia was one of the only ones that there was quite a considerable backlash from a lot of local politicians that didn't like it,
Yeah.
that didn't like the incentives.
dude's
I
got
don't
his
think
own
anything's going to
helipad.
change. I don't think it's going to change. Like
No,
the ink
yeah,
is
they-
already dry.
It's
so they can
interesting to
complain
me
all they
that all
want.
this like outrage against it only came out once the deal was set in stone. Not set in stone, but like announced. I most likely because not many people knew what like New York City was offering, because so many of these offers were so secretive. I know you spent a lot of time looking for it, details from what every city offered them. I put a compilation together as well, but that was like just basically what was public information.
Mhm.
But yeah, New York's deal was not public, and now that we've seen it, this does not seem like a good deal for many local politicians or people that live in Long Island City.
Yeah, I mean, and Cuomo and De Blasio are arguing the other side.
Yeah.
Cuomo, the governor, said that this is a 9-to-1 ratio. For every dollar we put into this project, we get $9 back. That we're going to use for public housing, for education, for infrastructure. That's their argument, and they're obviously getting a lot of backlash from folks in New York that's saying like, "Oh, I see you've got $1.5 billion for one of the most wealthy companies in the world, but not for the subways." So that's probably going to continue as this project keeps going. But anyway, thanks for the question. That was a bit of a tangent on what's going on in New York right now.
Speaking of the subway, I like how that was brought up in the chat yesterday, and by the time I got up this morning, it's a full-blown meme.
What?
What
The
is?
Onion put on an article that said, and I don't know if this predates the conversation, so if we were just getting trolled in the chat, nice job. But yeah, that Amazon is building a subway system in New York just for Prime or just for Amazon employees.
Yeah, I feel like whoever was in the chat probably read that.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Or
so
the person in the
good
chat
on
is
ya.
just that smart and should be writing for The Onion.
Next question, more from Ryan Williams. Are they essentially, they being Amazon, trying to do what Samsung did with Bixby, but with a much better assistant?
Yeah, probably. But Samsung makes more stuff directly, so they build refrigerators and ovens and washing machines. Amazon doesn't really do that yet. I guess you could consider the possibility, like the door is slightly more open now that they decided to build a microwave, but a microwave is a long way away from, some of those much, much bigger appliances. So Samsung has more of an advantage in kind of pushing Bixby because it has so much control over this huge pipeline of appliances. But Amazon also has a ton of partnerships. So if you are a customer for Amazon Lady, sorry, this is really slowing me down. If you do use the Echo speaker, you have a ton of options as far as buying appliances that work with it.
Speaking of other appliances, let's say if Amazon were to do a fridge, would that be in heavy competition with Samsung's smart fridge?
I don't think it would be, unless they partner up with somebody that makes, like, if Amazon makes their own fridge, I don't have the numbers, but I don't know how many people order fridges online as opposed to going to a store and like picking it up there and having it delivered from the store. Which Samsung obviously is in a lot of stores that with their refrigerators. Unless Amazon puts their own refrigerators in stores and also makes it much cheaper, I don't really see them doing that, like for online.
They do sell fridges on Amazon along with everything else.
But their own fridge?
No, of course not. But it would be interesting if they decided to build their own fridge. I'm not discounting it that it would never happen at all, but it would obviously piss off the folks that are already on Amazon selling their fridges. But we've seen Amazon do that a million times. As far as if you sell on the site, you can readily expect that if you're popular enough and if you sell enough, Amazon very well may decide to create a competing, may offer competition directly against you on its own website.
Here's one from Datcher. He says, Amazon still needs to develop a drone to get the meal out of my freezer and stuff it into the microwave.
Yeah. See, that's like such an important aspect of this, as you were saying, Alfred, that you still have to go to the microwave, open the door, put the food in and close it.
Yeah, at that point, like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna go up and put your food in it and then close it and then say like set like defrost for 5 minutes.
Yeah, so like if you're in the flow of doing stuff, I can see that somebody might get in the habit of doing that. But is it necessary? Like, do you need it? No, of course not. So the in-home food drone makes a lot of sense. Who was that from? Datch?
Datch.
Yeah, great idea, Datch.
Datch also
somebody
thinks
should definitely do that.
There should also be drone delivery from Whole Foods to the freezer.
Yeah, or
like into your house.
Yeah,
Like it just breaks through the window.
and it breaks through a different window the second time.
Amazon lady, I need a pizza.
Yeah.
Okay, we're almost out of time. Let's take a couple more questions. Here's a really good one from Tech Slacker. What do you think about Amazon focusing heavily on markets like India for growth, since perhaps the U.S. market may be becoming oversaturated?
Yeah, the U.S. market is definitely already saturated, especially when it comes to Prime customers. So there really isn't that much more room to grow. That being said, the U.S. is obviously Amazon's biggest market and its most important. But yeah, India is definitely a really interesting area. It's not one that I've really focused on too much, but it's really interesting what's going on there between Amazon and Walmart. Walmart recently purchased for a ton of money Flipkart, which is a major local e-commerce player there, and also Alibaba is trying to grow there. So if you're looking for a lot of competition in e-commerce, India is definitely an area where that's happening, and that should be good for customers as far as lower prices, more selection, and we'll see if Amazon ends up winning out.
Let's take one more from Timothy Dew. Timothy's full of good questions these days. Let's hypothetically say that Amazon and Google were to bind together and develop a smart assistant empire, would there be any legal implications in that?
Like a monopoly?
Essentially.
Yeah. What do you think? Maybe?
I don't know.
That's it. That's a good question. There are other smart assistants, but those are the two biggest ones. But it's still a very new market.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like anti-competitive folks would really get involved in something like that. There is a theory, generally speaking, that all these smart assistants are eventually going to start working together, and you're going to ask them different things for, like they're going to get good at certain elements, and you're going to ask them different things for different stuff that you need. I don't think that's coming anytime soon, but even Jeff Bezos mentioned the idea of having smart assistants work together and not have Amazon Lady do anything and everything.
I like that we're actually getting into the habit and
I'm trying.
Amazon
I'm trying.
Lady. It's good. It's good.
It's really breaking my
took
habit.
Quick.
I'm slowing down a lot from it, but it's fine.
Okay, last one for the day. We're going to do a quick follow-up to HQ2. Datcher says, I'm sure that no one really cares, but it appears that Arlington is practically renaming a section of the region just for HQ2. Look up National Landing. You know anything about this, Ben?
They're not renaming it. They called it that, but there is no place in Arlington called National Landing. I didn't think that they were renaming it. I thought they got the name wrong of an area.
From what I understood, okay, so the area has been called Crystal City. I was under the impression that it's been rebranded. It had been rebranded already as National Landing, but not specifically for this deal.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because Crystal City is a pretty cool name, but maybe Crystal City was kind of slummy before, so they had an interest in changing it to something like really, I don't know, bland, like National Landing. They probably should have just changed it to Bezosville because that's what it's going to be. So
Bezosburg.
They should have like just gone for the gold and just said, you know, here you go, Jeff. Here's another slice of planet Earth that you get to take over.
Hasn't Governor Cuomo changed his name yet to Amazon Cuomo?
He has not yet, but I would love to see that happen.
Moments like these, I really wish that I still had a soundboard with a rim shot on it.
Yeah.
Let's work that into the next year's budget.
But yeah, I don't think anybody is really calling it National Landing. Like, I mentioned it in my story yesterday, but I'm going to go right back to calling it Crystal City because Crystal City is what everybody's been calling it the whole time.
Yeah, National Landing is essentially what they, like, local, like, developers called it in their way to, like, try to attract Amazon to Arlington. But yeah, that's not a historical name for, like, it's Crystal City.
Yeah.
They're trying to call it National Landing to, like, kind of rebrand and make it look cool. Kind of like what...
It's a bad name.
Yeah.
It's just so bland.
I mean, that's essentially what, like, real estate developers did for, like, Dumbo back in Brooklyn. Like,
yeah, but Dumbo's a cool name.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure somebody will say that about National Landing someday.
Okay.
Probably Jeff Bezos. I don't know, but somebody thinks it's cool, I guess. Cooler than Crystal City.
Well, either way, it's nice to have somebody like you out there, Datch, who's on the scene and keeping us posted on what's going on in the front line. He says National Landing will be parts of Crystal City, Pentagon Row, and Potomac Yard. So, needless to say, thanks for contributing. Looking forward to hearing more from you. That being said, we are out of time, and forgive us. We are not going to have a show tomorrow because CNET decided that they wanted me to come in here at 5 a.m. to roll tape on another project. And I get to work 16 hours straight.
Yeah, thanks for filming my birthday party again. I really appreciate it, Brian.
Yeah, of course, anytime. So
really
yeah,
important.
Sorry, folks, no show tomorrow. We will be back on Monday, regularly scheduled. Pray for me. Tomorrow's going to be a very, very long day. And then we'll say goodbye and have a great week. Won't we, Ben?
I guess so. Yeah. The 359 podcast is available on iTunes, TuneIn, FeedBurner, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Google Podcast, the Amazon Echo, also known as Amazon Lady.
Alexa.
Hey! And of course, CNET.com. Thanks everybody for your questions, and we'll see you on Monday.